the water. All right, so that's what we'll get into, man. I think it's an extremely important lesson, because I mean that freed up a lot of things inside my head. Like, I thank God that, like, I'm not in the world right now trying to find the truth, because there's so much more misinformation out there. And I think what's making it I have a TikTok. I barely use it, or I used to barely use it. I don't post nothing on there really. But I just got on there recently to find information. And I'm like addicted, like, you know, like at night I go in the rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying? I sit there and I flip through all these videos, and a lot of things are helpful when it comes down to health, when it comes down to recipes, making certain things from scratch, like all the shorts. But then you click on one video and now you down like the conspiracy rabbit hole, the flat earth, you know what I'm saying? All these different things, the Anunnakis. And I could only imagine if I was still in the world smoking weed and TikTok was around, you know what I'm saying? I would be lost. You know what I'm saying? I would end up like young Pharaoh or somebody else. And you know what I'm saying? And God knows what, mind twisted, and you know what I'm saying? Believing in all this, you understand, all these things. But point being is, I think one of the things that liberated me was knowing that there's no such thing as fallen angels, because everybody tries to put all these other cultures in superiority over the Bible, when the Bible is the true word of God. Like, they try to deal with Sumer, and you know what I'm saying, all the Sumerian tablets and the Epic of Gilgamesh, and you know what I'm saying. They try to put. They always go to the Epic of Gilgamesh when it comes down to the flood story, but they fail to recognize and realize every ancient tradition on Earth, from every single culture on the planet, has a flood story. And they all have common denominators. All the flood stories, the common denominators that they have is rain for extended period of time, some kind of vessel, people, and animals. Now, the size of the ship varies, the size of the flood, the amount of rain, maybe even the shape of the vessel, and the amount of people and animals varies in every story. But those are the same common denominators across the board. You know what I'm saying? So if you go and you find a story, right, the way that you know what's true is the amount of details that correspond. Even in history is extremely convoluted. It's hard to find out what's real or not. Like, even, you know, we all know that the transatlantic slave trade happened.
Go on.
If America is not, you understand, judged by the Most High, I'm trying to censor myself so we don't get kicked off the internet. But if America is not judged by the Most High by the time, for let's say 100 years passes, we'll be fighting to convince our people slavery even happened. Because you go down to Florida, what are they teaching inside the curriculum now? Slavery was a benefit. Yes, they said slavery was a benefit because, quote unquote, so-called African Americans were able to learn trades and skills, as if slavery civilized us.
Right.
Good.
They try to say that they were more like employers, workers.
Right. They try to say that, you understand, we was indentured servitude, and you know what I'm saying, and that they're now calling us migrants, as if we migrated, you understand, to these different areas. Now, of course, I'm talking about the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. As far as the Tainos were concerned, we were enslaved from the second Columbus landed here, 1492. You know what I'm saying? The slave trade didn't pick up in Africa until what? 1680, 1690. You know what I'm saying? Like the late 1600s is when it really, you understand, started to ramp up over there. But they were already had slavery introduced since the end of the 15th century with, you understand, the natives of America. So I say all that to say this is that they try to put the emphasis on these other cultures as if they're valid over our history. Well, we have to fight to make sure that everyone knows that our history is valid, because the Bible is the most accurate history book on the planet. Like, even if you go down to, let's just say we talk about when Joseph was sold into captivity, right? If you go back to the quote unquote time frame that Joseph was in, a servant would have went for the exact price he was sold for. Like, those are the type of historical accuracies that I'm talking about. Same thing when it comes down to our interactions with, you know what I'm saying, with the Assyrian captivity. You can't turn around and say that Israel doesn't exist because of the Salmanister's black obelisk, and you seeing the Israelites with fringes and headpieces, much like we're wearing, and beards, bringing and paying tribute onto Shalmaneser, like it says inside of Kings, like it says inside of Hosea. You can't turn around and try to negate the history, because they always try to deny the Bible until, you understand, they find the archaeology.
Right.
They thought the Horites didn't exist. They found the archaeology. They thought the Moabites didn't exist. They found the Moabite stele, or steel, however y'all want to pronounce it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when meanwhile the Bible is the most accurate history book that's on the planet, and you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody can challenge that. Y'all try to challenge that, and then Captain Zaryak single-handedly destroyed, you understand, the conscious community in the name of the Most High, and it was beautiful.
Right.
So I say all that to say this, is that because people see images of chariots on Sumerian tablets, or they see, winged serpents and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? They try to interpret that as if this is the precedent, that, you know what I'm saying, where everything comes from, where it's not. Just like everybody had a flood story. You can't put the flood story just on the Sumerians when every other nation had one.
Right.
You understand? The difference is, though, if we were to put it up, the reason why I would say the Bible is more accurate than any other flood story would be for this purpose. Where's the prophecies in the Sumerian tablets that are still coming true to this day? Where's the, you know what I'm saying, the book, chapter, and verse in any papyrus, coffin text, pyramid text, anything in the Book of the Dead that told you that Russia was going to start World War III? Where is it? In the Tibetan Book of the Dead, where's the prophecy that explained our captivity? You can't find it. But yet inside the Bible, we find nonstop, you understand? Like, it's we literally know we knew that the Euphrates was going to dry up. Why? Because John, the quote unquote, and I'm not saying this in a negative connotation, I'm saying as what they call him, John the Revelator, got a revelation that the Euphrates was going to dry up. The Euphrates is drying up to this day. Y'all knew that was going to happen? And y'all knew that was going to happen at the same time Gog invaded Magog? Well, Revelation said that was going to happen. So if we're going to put the emphasis, I'm going to put my faith, I'm going to put my trust in the accuracy with the book that's been coming true and predicting the future for over 6,000 years. Y'all want to put your faith in these dead empires? That's fine. You understand? We're going to put our book in the Bible. And I say all that because one of the major things, as far as where I see fallen angels or people coming from the heavens and whatnot, is usually has to do with the Anunnaki and the Epic of Gilgamesh and the Sumerian tablets, when all of that is nonsense. You understand? Planet Nibiru and Planet X, and you understand all this, you know what I'm saying, tinkering that they believe that, you understand, these angelic-like beings who are really super advanced aliens came and took us for mining gold for the atmosphere, and all that's easier. I'm going to tell you a couple of secrets, right? The reason why our people put so much emphasis on fallen angels is for two reasons, right? Two main reasons. One, if angels can sin, if angels can rebel against the Most High, then how could we serve him? Now the Christians use that like grace. They use fallen angels as a license to sin. Well, the angels fell, brother. How could we serve the Lord? What could we possibly do? You understand? That's the Christian mindset. Christians are constantly trying to look for an excuse instead of just serving the Lord. And then two, because now you don't have to fight. And what I mean is now we don't have to fight our oppressor, because when we say our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks about, he's real. He wears a badge. You understand? He's in office. He wears a suit and a tie. You understand? He's carved into mountains. He's on the back of he's on the front of your dollar bill. We could see him.
Right.
But if Lucifer is this fallen angel, how do we fight him? What could we do about this invisible enemy? If fallen angels are really these Anunnakis, now we can sit around and talk about conspiracies all day instead of getting off drugs, instead of fighting our addiction, instead of combating abuse in our communities. You understand? Instead of turning around and actually rebelling righteously against our oppressor, because I said this the other day, it wouldn't matter how much narcotics they bring into the community if we refuse to sell to one another. You know, like that whole Iran-Contra scandal wouldn't have mattered if we decided your life was worth more than me paying my rent. Then maybe we wouldn't have destroyed the community. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't matter if they put an abortion clinic on every corner, like a bus, like they were doing with the jab, you understand, or the vaccine. It wouldn't matter if we wouldn't get on the buses to have abortions. We have a moral issue, and fallen angels is escapism to not actually have to fight inside of reality. You understand? So what I want to do is our initial conversation. Now, I've broken this down before. I'll break it down a million times until Yahweh Shah returns if I have to. And I know we had this conversation about 2 weeks ago about Lucifer. So we're going to get into fallen angels. So the first thing that we're going to do is let's go to Isaiah, the 14th chapter. Let's start at Isaiah 14 and 12. And we're going to do a little bit of reading. You know what I'm saying? I want to break down this chapter as clear and concise as I possibly can for not only you, but you know, anybody who's listening from home. If anybody has any questions on or off topic, you could go ahead and put them in the chat. And then we'll take it from there.
Come on. Damn. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12.
Good.
How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?
You understand? How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? The Christian church has been teaching this, like Lucifer and Satan are synonymous as the same exact being, a fallen angelic being who rebelled against God. Go ahead.
Son of the morning.
Son of the morning. Now, they also take this, you understand, and try to twist it and make it synonymous with Christ and all these other things and the Baphomet, and you'll see a million different things online when people don't even know the origin of the Baphomet was created by the Catholic Church. It was actually created to combat Muhammad because they were making fun of Muhammad. That's why the crescent moon is inside of it, because that's a symbol of Islam. They were saying like Baphomet by Muhammad. You understand? Like, I mean, this is for Muhammad. That's what the Baphomet was created for by the Catholic Church, to make people believe that, you know, it's basically to combat this new religion that was rivaling them. Good.
Like, isn't that the thing? It has like the goat face.
Yeah, with the goat head, the breast on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was really initiated by like the Jesuits and the Catholic Church, and you know what I'm saying? Like, when I say the Jesuits, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the subsect of the Catholic priests that became the Jesuits. You know what I'm saying? Which is basically like, if the Catholic Church is a government, the Jesuits would be their CIA. They would be the ones who infiltrate and destabilize governments and organizations, and you know what I'm saying, and try to manipulate, you understand, the world. All right? Go ahead, read on.
How art thou cut down?
Make sure the mic gets closer to you.
How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?
You understand? Now, I'm going to break all of this down, but for now, I want you to just read everything together. So at first glance, if we just start here without any context, without understanding anything, it sounds like a fallen angel. Right. Go ahead.
Verse 13, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation. in the sides of the north.
Now, this just sound like, oh, what a this is an incredibly powerful being. Good.
Verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Verse 15, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell.
Hell, because the problem is the Christian church has made you believe that hell is this alternate dimension that we go to when we die, as if we're not suffering enough here.
Right.
They want you to think that it's a red man with a pitchfork who's ready to unalive you. You understand? But we all know the red man on the earth who unalives us. You understand? Every single day.
Right.
Good.
To the sides of the pit. Verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man?
Is this the what?
The man.
The angel?
The man.
The fallen angelic being.
The man.
Satan?
The man.
Lucifer?
The man.
Is this the what?
The man that made the earth to tremble.
So now, is this the man? What man is this that we're talking about? Well, let's find out. If you want to understand the context of a chapter, we have to start in the beginning of the chapter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the beginning of the chapter and then read down, and we're going to connect all of this. Who is Lucifer? Let's start at 1.
Come Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel.
So the Most High will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel. You understand? Like Israel and Jacob are the same person. This is who the Most High gave his covenant to. This is who he showed his mercy on to. You understand? Once again, the Most High is going to choose our people, choose our nation. Jacob and all of his descendants, the entire nation of Israel is going to be redeemed. So we know that this chapter is talking about redemption of Israel.
Right.
Why would Israel have to be redeemed? Because currently Israel's in captivity, which means somebody's in a very high estate and Israel is very low. Like, don't we talk about being in low conditions now? You understand? Don't we say we came from the gutter?
Right.
The gutter ain't on the top. The gutter's on the bottom.
That's right.
You understand? Don't we say we got it out the mud?
Right.
The mud ain't on the top. The mud is on the bottom. You know when you become a star is when you're high up.
Right.
That's when you're a rock star, when you're a movie star, when you're a rap star. Because why? You're shining. Everyone notices you. You have power. You have glory. But when you're on the bottom, you're in the dust. You're getting it out the mud. We're coming out the gutter. We're coming out the dirty South. Why? Because we're on the bottom. We're in poverty.
Right.
So Israel needs mercy from the Lord, needs mercy from the Most High, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Go ahead.
And set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them.
So now why do we have to be set in our own land? Because we lost our land. We're in captivity under another nation. But these strangers that rule over us, we're going to rule over them. It's a changing of the guard.
Right.
Someone who's above us is going to come down very low, and us who's very low is going to go high. Go ahead.
And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
They're going to cleave to the house of Jacob. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
Okay.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
So these people are going to be servants and handmaids. Meaning, before, who was Israel? We were the servants and the handmaids. We were the ones who were being ruled over. We were the ones on the bottom of society.
Right.
Now, these people are going to be servants and handmaids. Good.
And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
We were in he who leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Right.
Good.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
And we shall rule over our oppressor. Because for us to rule over our oppressor, why are we calling the oppressor? Because he was ruling over us.
Right.
So this book is about someone who was in power falling out of power so Israel could be raised up over them. That's what we're talking about in this chapter. That's the context. Read on.
Verse 3. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve.
Because this was the condition. You understand? The condition was hell.
Right.
That's what hell is. Hell is a negative condition on earth. Good.
Like is that far coming to the far rest that we say like during the Middle Ages?
Well, you want to say more so when we get our kingdom, when we get redeemed, that's our rest.
Right.
Because Israel is talking about what? Being redeemed, going back into the land. We won't have our rest till Yahushua returns. Once Yahushua returns, that's when we'll have our rest as far as this time. Read on.
Verse 4. That thou shalt take up this proverb.
This what?
This proverb.
This what?
Proverb.
When we're talking about how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, that's the proverb we're taking up against a man. What man? We're going to take up this proverb against who?
Against the king of Babylon.
Because who was ruling over Israel? The king of Babylon.
Right.
So who is living high? The king. The king of where? The king of Babylon. And the king of Babylon is Israel's oppressor.
Right.
And now this king is going to fall from his heights into a low condition because Israel is going to take them captives of whose captives we were. The man that it's talking about is the king of Babylon.
Right.
The ruling class of Babylon, the aristocracy of Babylon. It's not just talking about one person, and we're going to get there. This chapter is going to show you that Lucifer is the aristocracy of Babylon. Lucifer is the oppressor. Read on.
And say, how have the oppressor ceased?
How had the oppressor ceased? Who's going to take him out of power? Think about today, right? America's a superpower. Who could contend with America? America's had aerial superiority since what, the 1940s, since World War II? Yet World War II is when America became a superpower. You feel me? World War I, they really established themselves, but early on before that, America wasn't considered a global superpower in the world. They were building up. Hell, when the French Revolution kicked off, America didn't even get involved. They declared a state of neutrality because the country wasn't strong enough to get in that battle, even though the French helped America win their independence. Read on.
The golden city ceased.
The golden city ceased because we're talking about all of these glorious things. You know, like New York is a golden city. Now, not for the impoverished, but, you know, have y'all ever heard of Billionaires Row? Mm-hmm. I mean, brother, you got buildings up there that are so tall, in the center of it, there's air pockets. Like there's literal holes for the wind to go through, because if they didn't build those pockets, the buildings would sway too much. And all you see is the elevator shafts. And it's nothing but billionaires. Y'all can Google. They got a building that they call it the Jenga building. And it looks like Jenga blocks. You understand? And there's a triplex penthouse that's at the top of it. You know what I'm saying? That you can rent if you want to stay there for, you know, thousands of dollars a month. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a golden city, man.
Right.
The rich live here. And a lot of the rich, listen, a lot of these, you understand, multi-million dollar apartments and penthouses are empty. 80% empty. They fill it just enough for tax purposes. That's it. Now, you think about that the next time you get off the 4 and the 6 train, you see all people sleeping on the floor, that there's some billionaire who bought property in New York just for a tax write-off. Read on.
Verse 5. The Lord have broken the staff of the wicked.
He had what?
Broken the staff of the wicked.
And who is the wicked who had the staff? Is it a fallen angel? No, it's the king of Babylon. Go ahead.
and the scepter of the rulers.
And what?
And the scepter of the rulers.
Ruler or rulers?
Rulers.
You understand? Because now we're talking about their ruling class of people. Go ahead.
Verse 6. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth.
Because who was ruling the nations? The king of Babylon. This was an ancient Babylon and modern day Babylon. Because who rules the nations today? Our oppressor.
Right.
Who sits at the top of the UN? Who has military bases? We talked about this last week in every single country. Who oppresses every nation on the face of the earth? Because this is modern day Babylon.
Right.
You know, the Bible is not some book you read one time and it doesn't affect. The Bible, everything repeats itself. So what we experienced as a people in ancient Babylon, we're experiencing today in modern Babylon. Otherwise, if none of this mattered, what would we read this book for? It would be as useless as the Book of the Dead. It would be as useless as the Epic of Gilgamesh. It would be as useless as all these other cultures' records, but this is our record, and this is how we get out of captivity. By looking inside here and seeing what we went through and turning back to the Most High because of it. Read on.
Come, verse 7. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing.
Go ahead.
Verse 8. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fella is come against us.
You understand? Like now, trees in the Bible is also talking about smaller nations. But let me tell you something. They're doing this because just look at how much they conquer and destroy. They even destroy rainforests. You get what I'm saying? Like the trees can rest when they're not in charge. You understand? And who are we talking about? You understand? Since thou art laid down. Who was laid down? The king of Babylon.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee.
Who? What hell from beneath? Meaning this low condition is now going to overtake you. Oppression is going to overtake you, just as you oppress the nations. Good.
Salakia. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It have raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations.
You understand? And now what you're starting to see is that this is going to rock everybody. Good.
Verse 10. Or they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also come, Salakia, art thou also become weak as we?
And now notice, the context hasn't changed. We're still speaking about the king of Babylon. Go ahead.
Art thou become like unto us? Verse 11. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee.
You understand? Because now, where were you before? In the height of the heavens, in the clouds, shining like the star that you were. And now you're brought down to the worms. And you know what worms devour? Those that are unalive. You understand? Like when they say you'll be worm food, you know what I'm saying? Why? Because you become fertilizer. You go back into the earth, and then all that decomposes you and then fertilizes the rest of the planet. Read on.
Verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
We're talking about a man, the king of Babylon, the ruling class. How art thou fallen from heaven? Meaning we were the ground. You were the sky.
Right.
How did you fall from this delicious condition? Who brought you from the heights that you rule over? You understand? Good. I'd have to look and see which word it translates into Hebrew, because from what I understand, Lucifer actually comes from the Latin Vulgate, and it means light bearer. It's something that got added in, and the light bearer, it means the one who's shining. Right. You understand? Which is why it compares to the son of the morning. You understand? Or the star of the morning, which is the sun. because that's the brightest one, because that's what rules over everything. So, it's, you into music, you know what I'm saying? When he says like, I call my brother son because he shines like one. You know what I mean? This is our euphemisms and expressions that we utilize.
Right.
So when it calls him the light bearer, it's because he shines so bright, it's like the sun. That's how powerful he was. That's how strong his kingdom was. Because does not America rule over the planet? Does not our oppressor collectively, when you look at, you understand which nations rule? That's because they're the ones who shine like the sun right now. Read on.
Come on, Khan. How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nation?
So how do you come down to where these worms are? How do you fall from this delicious state that you did weaken the nations? Now, didn't we just read a minute ago? He said, the nation said, are you weak like us? Who did that? The king of Babylon. That's who we've been reading about. That's the proverb that we're reading about. Take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, not against the angel, not against, understand, a celestial being. No, against this man.
Right.
Read on.
Come on, Khan. Verse 13, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven.
You understand? And that's what they try to do today. They say they'll ascend into heaven. They'll ascend into the heights. They'll try to ascend into the heights, both physically, you understand, and metaphorically. That's why they try to build space stations. That's why they try to say we went to the moon. You know what I'm saying? We went to the moon in 1969, put the flag up there. That's why they say they're trying to colonize and re-terraform Mars. Which, you know what I don't get? If you're saying that Earth is messed up, I think Mars would be way more messed up than Earth. And now you want to terraform Mars to live there. Why don't you just terraform where we're at? We live here now.
Right.
You mean to tell me you can't fix where we're at? That argument doesn't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? But what you're seeing here is that, you understand, he tries to exalt his throne, you understand, above the stars of God. Now, first of all, this is also manifold, because you have the literal stars that he tries to exalt himself above with the Space Force and NASA. And then you have the stars of God, which is us. When you read Revelations and it talks about that woman with the 12 stars that were around her, that's the 12 tribes. We're God's stars. We're the Most High stars. We're the ones that the power, you understand, gave us this planet to be able to rule and shine over. Read on.
I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation.
Who's the congregation? Israel's the congregation. Because what were we talking about? We were talking about how the Lord was going to have mercy on Jacob and choose Israel again, and we shall rule over our oppressors. Why? Because they were sitting on the congregation. The kings of Babylon were sitting on us. Where?
In the sides of the north.
Oh, and it just so happens we're in North America today.
Right.
Good.
Verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds.
Good.
I will be like the Most High.
And is not that what they try to do? You know, we talked about this last week when we went over the Renaissance. We talked about how in the Sistine Chapel they paint themselves as God.
Right.
You understand? You see that painting of Adam, you understand, and the hand of God reaching out to him. You see all the little white naked, I don't know if I could say that, little baby angels.
Right.
You see, you know what I'm saying? You see that they tried to make the greatest man on the face of the earth, Jesus Christ, Caesar Borgia. And then even when you look in the painting of the Last Supper, they say there's a woman in there that they want to say that that's Mary or Mary Magdalene, when that's his sister Lucretia. You know what I'm saying? You go over here, you see an older gentleman, you think that's, one of the apostles. That's his father, Rodrigo. You go to the left, that's his other brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go over here, it's Caesar again. Put himself in the painting 3 times. It wasn't none of those the disciples.
Right.
Good.
Verse 15. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell.
Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell. You understand? Meaning brought down to a low condition. Yet, although you were in the heights, you're down here now. You're impoverished. You're in captivity. You were in the heights. Now you're worm food. Good?
To the sides of the pit.
Good.
Verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man?
So if we're going to turn around, first of all, is this the man? What man? The king of Babylon. But now, if this was Lucifer, and Lucifer's an angel, and angel Satan, when has anybody ever gotten a chance to look at this angel? Now, all of a sudden, we're going to narrowly, you know what it means to narrowly look? Like, this is when your eyes, like my eyes are wide right now. Now my eyes are narrow.
Right.
So now, you know, think about how great all these people, the MAGA hats, how much people love Donald Trump.
Right.
Now, picture he goes from being a trillionaire to sweeping the streets. Everybody going to be like you're going to have babies one day, grandbabies. And if this place was to topple right now, they would see him sweeping the streets. It's this. They're going to look at me and be like, this grandpa?
Right.
Did he ruled? This is who ruled the earth? Can't be. No way. Okay?
That is this the man that made the earth to tremble?
That made the earth to tremble. This is the one that everyone was afraid would invade. This is the one that decided wars. Good.
That did shake kingdoms.
You go ask Hiroshima and Nagasaki if their kingdom shook.
Right.
Go ask them how they felt when they dropped them devices off. Good.
Verse 17. That made the world as a wilderness.
And you know how he made the world as a wilderness? Okay. Not only does he destroy areas, you understand? But this is one of the number one ways he made the world the wilderness. He took the word of God out. You understand? Like when you look at when it says that we shall be made in God's image, that wasn't, you understand, talking about 10 fingers, 10 toes. Like, what is your image? Your image is your reputation. You understand? So now you think about, let us make man in our image. Who's the our? That was Christ and all the angels during creation.
Right.
You know, the Most High said, let there be, and then it was created because he gave the order and they created. What was the image of those powers, of those Elohim, of those Allahim? They were able to receive instruction from the Most High. If we're made in the image of those powers, we're able to receive instruction from the Most High, which is why the scripture says, ye are gods, but shall die like men. Because we're supposed to be those powers, judges, rulers, and authorities inside the earth in a chain of command. That's how it always goes. So he takes, you understand, the word of the Most High out of the earth, and now what do we get reduced to? The wilderness, the wild, the animals. Y'all ever hear the concrete jungle?
Come on.
Why would it? What, you know, it's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. Why would we believe that this is a jungle? Because what's the law of the jungle? Unalive or be unalived.
Right.
Right? Eat or get eaten. I'm doing pretty good at translating it, right? I'm proud of myself. I had to catch I almost said it. I had to catch Most High in Christ. That's a lot here for a vain moment. But my point being is that's the law of the jungle, and you live like that when we don't have law.
Right.
I mean, they even said it in I don't know if y'all watch John Wick. I'm a big fan of John Wick theory. A series. That's a theory. I have a theory on it. We'll talk about that later. But point being is, when you watch that, he said rules, John, rules, because without them, we're like the animals. You know, a dog don't know if it's naked. Dog don't have shame. Animals don't have shame. You know, I watched a pack of hyenas tear apart a damn a baby hippopotamus.
God.
You know what I'm saying? Just for anybody who thinks that this world is sweet, it is not. Do y'all not know the planet we're on? This is a vicious place. Do not think that you understand because there's skyscrapers and sidewalks and stoplights that this is a civilized place. You understand? This is a wilderness because he took the laws of God out of it. He made the earth a wilderness. And that's why all of us have friends that are doing football numbers. That's why all of us have friends that have been unalived and buried far before their time. That's why we are all destroyed as a nation and as a people. Because we live in the jungle.
Right.
We live in the wilderness. Read on.
Come on, God. And destroyed the cities thereof.
And destroyed the cities thereof. You think the cities ain't destroyed? Hey, follow me up the block. We'll just go one block up, you understand, to Lexington. Come with me to East New York. Let's find out if the city's destroyed. Take it off New York. Follow me to Baltimore. You understand? Everybody's so worried about, feed Africa. Baltimore's a third world country. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to leave Baltimore? You know what I mean? Let's go over to California. Let's go to Compton. You want to leave there? Let's go to Oakland. You want to leave Oakland? Like, you want to go to Flint, Michigan? See what color the water comes out the faucet? They destroyed the cities thereof.
Right.
Go ahead.
That opened not the house of his prisoners.
There's over 2 million Black and Hispanics in the prison system right now. He don't open the house of his prisoners. And I was bringing up all the narcotics that they brought out earlier. They passed the Anti-Drug Act of 1985, and for a little bit of rock, if you got caught, you were going away a minimum of 10 to 15 years without the shot of parole. You know what I'm saying? And then come in the 90s, the Clinton administration drops the 3-strike law. Now, you had one strike, you understand, from being a juvenile. Another strike, you understand, from just trying to, you understand, make rent. Now you get out. Man, you accidentally walk out the store with a pair of socks and you doing life. 3 strikes. That's it. And then while you're there, once again, when you police for profits, now what? You sewing all the military uniforms for 60 cents a day? You know what I'm saying? Now, if you don't want to work, they put you in solitary confinement. Because, here's what's amazing. You can go and work for a cell phone company while you're in prison for 70 cents a day. But then once you get out, we don't hire felons. Because once you're not a felon under the prison system, you know what they have to do. Now they got to pay you 20 an hour, 15 an hour, 18 an hour. You know what one of the number one expenses for any business? Payroll. Payroll is one of the number one expenses. Why do you think you got to go check yourself out now at Walmart and Target? Because they don't want to pay cashiers. Because, you do the math. If you have 10 cashiers and every single one of them is making 20 an hour, $40 a week. Let's just do a little bit of math here. Walk with me. This is going to be economics. We're going to learn everything in here. So let's say 20 an hour, 40 hours a week. That's $800. Now, let's say there's 20 people that you had to hire. That's $16,000 a week times 4. That's $64,000 a month. You understand? So what if I can get rid of 15 people? You get what I'm saying? Divide that by 15. You left with 4,266. Now imagine if all you had to pay people was 15 cents a day. How much money are you saving? You understand?
Come on.
Like that's what they do. I mean, even if you work on a construction site, they bid that this is our man hours. We have to pay apprentices 25. Do you know how much they're actually paying the apprentices? 15, 18. So that means they're making $10 to $7 an hour off of you working. because they're not really paying every apprentice $25. Well, imagine if it's in the contract that you're paying every employee $20 an hour, but your employees are prisoners and you're making them 15 cents. You're making $19 an hour off of every prisoner. You're making money. Do y'all see the problem? This is why he opens not the house of his prisoners. This is the king of Babylon. This is who weakened the nations. This is who made cities to tremble.
Right.
This is the great oppressor. How are you going to be ceased? How is the golden city ceased? How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? That did weaken the nations. Who's going to bring you down?
Right.
Even before I came into truth, I always said, without divine intervention, we're effed. It's completely jacked up. Because realistically, think about it. What could we do? We don't have a military.
Right.
We don't have predator drones. We don't have missile silos. You know what I'm saying? We're not organized. We barely have a common identity. You understand?
Come on.
How do you combat that? They got this planet on lock.
Come on.
And I always said that. I'm like, there either needs to be a mass awakening or Christ has to return, or both at the same time. And that's really the truth. We're having a mass awakening in order for Christ to return.
Right.
Because without that, we are doomed. You understand? Without that, we'd be better off if AI took over. I think the AI would be more just than our oppressor that we have now. You understand?
Right.
Bring in the T12s and then the T16s. You understand? They be better. I don't think eggs would be $9. They would find some efficient way. You understand? Now, of course, I'm joking because we want to rule, but my point is that's how wicked our oppressor is.
Right.
Read on.
Verse 18. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory.
And this is how you know that we're talking about more than one king. We're talking about the ruling class of Babylon. The king of Babylon, Lucifer, is these people, is this nation. And it's going to go on to talk about them plurally. Go ahead. I don't know if plurally is a word, but plural. Y'all get it. Go ahead.
Come on. Everyone in his own house. Verse 19. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch.
Like it's nothing. Even though they look like they're in rulership, even though they live deliciously, they will be cast out like they're nothing. Good.
And as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword.
And that's why they're going to meet the worms. Good.
That go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet.
Worm food. Good.
Verse 20. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial.
Because they go into Sheol. You understand? Like a proper burial, you understand, is people gathering, anointing the body, wrapping you in linens, and putting you somewhere in a marked grave.
Right.
Not being joined in burial, you understand, is cremation. Is a mass grave, is just unmarked grave, is just being cast off like the wicked. Nobody loves you. Nobody cares when you go. You will not be remembered. Go ahead.
Because thou hast destroyed thy land.
Good.
And slain thy people.
Good.
And the seed of evildoers shall never be renowned.
Y'all can carve your face into whatever mountain you want. You could put your face on all the dollar bills you want. You could write all these history books and manipulate history. Nobody is going to remember y'all. Just like how many pharaohs can't they find? How much history is destroyed from Egypt?
Right.
You understand? How many records have been altered? How much history is there a void of that nobody knows? That's going to be this place. Good.
Verse 21. Prepare slaughter for his children.
For who?
For his children.
Now, why would it be talking about the children? This is always when our oppressors' children come up. I didn't do it. I didn't own a slave.
Right.
Yeah, but you're a benefactor to the crime.
Right.
You understand? If I steal a wallet and you spend it, we both go down for the same crime because you're a benefactor. They are a benefactor of hundreds of years of intergenerational wealth and this system that strictly benefits them. And every decade, they find a new way to oppress us. Good?
For the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities.
It's going to be illegal for them to be landowners one day.
That's right.
They're not going to be able to spread like that. Good?
Verse 22. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts,
Good.
and cut off from Babylon.
From where?
From Babylon.
No, from Hades.
From Babylon.
From hell.
Babylon.
You're good?
The name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord.
That's what the Most High said. And you know why? Because for you to have a nephew, your father has to have a brother, meaning you got an uncle. Your uncle has to have a wife. That's how you understand you'd have a nephew, which means your kids got cousins.
Right.
That's how you know it's talking about a family. That's why it's mentioning the kings. That's why it's talking about these people, our oppressors. Because this whole thing is a proverb against the king of Babylon. This is not talking about fallen angels.
Okay.
You understand? I hope that's clear as day.
Most
High Christ. Any questions in the chat?
Sir.
All right. Let's get a couple more scriptures. Let's go to Job 1:6.
I'm calling. Job chapter 1, verse 6. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them.
Let's read that again.
Come on, God. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came along with them.
So now, the sons of God is talking about the angels. Where is this? This is before the throne of the Most High. The angels came up there, and guess who else was present? Another angel. Satan came before the Most High. Now, why is it separating Satan from the sons of God? Because Satan is who we're talking about. You understand? If this would have been Gabriel, it would have said, and Gabriel was also present amongst them, because this is who we're talking about. But I thought Satan was cast out of heaven. Wasn't that what he was doing on earth, tempting Adam and Eve? What is he doing back? Ain't that what the Christian church says? Oh, he was cast out of heaven. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, right? No, Lucifer's the king of Babylon. This is actually the spirit Satan. Here he is. And he comes also among them. Good.
Verse 7. And the Lord said unto Satan, whence thou comest?
Now, Most High says, from when thou coming, meaning there's a word, if you're a soldier in here, that you'll learn. Report. Where have you been? What have you been doing? Good.
Then Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth.
From what?
To and fro in the earth.
Did Satan say, mind your business? Does he sound rebellious? Does he sound like he's fighting? No, the Most High said, report. I've been going to and fro in the earth. Good.
And from walking up and down in it.
Been going all over. I've been doing what you asked me to do. Good.
Verse 8. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job?
So now, you've been in the earth. You've been walking in it, going to and fro. Did you consider Job yet? Did you meet him while you were in it? Good.
That there is none like him in the earth. A perfect.
What?
And a perfect.
What?
A perfect.
No, we can't be perfect. What was Job?
Perfect.
Go ahead.
and an upright man.
Perfection is achievable. Perfection is obeying God perfectly. But once again, when it comes down to fallen angels, what are Christians trying to do? Have a get out of sin free card.
Right.
You understand? Because you can't be perfect. We all fall short, brother. Good.
One that feareth God and escheweth evil.
Who stays away from evil. He fears the Most High. Good.
Verse 9, then Satan answered the Lord and said, doth Job fear God or for naught?
Yeah, but does he fear you for nothing? He's posing a question. He's like, okay, you want me to consider Job? I have an argument, though. This is Satan's job. Satan's job is to go before the Most High and make an argument against you. Good.
Verse 10, hast thou not made an hedge about him?
Now, what's a hedge? A hedge is a border, is a fence, meaning you're protecting him. Good.
And about his house, and about all that he hath on every side.
Now, if Satan is so rebellious, first of all, I thought he was kicked out of heaven. No, here he is. And if he's so rebellious, why don't he just hop the hedge? Why does the hedge matter? Because let me tell you what Christians do. Christians don't respect the Most High. They don't fear the Most High. Really, when you say that there's fallen angels, you're disrespecting the Most High. You're saying he don't have his house in order.
Right.
You're trying to say he's not the Most High power, as if any other power can challenge him. I don't see Satan challenging him. I don't see a battle. I don't see a fight. I see a soldier having a discussion with his superior. Go ahead.
Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land.
Go ahead.
Verse 11, but put forth thine hand now, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face.
Go ahead.
Verse 12, and the Lord said unto Satan, behold, all that he hath in Slakia, behold, all that he hath is in thy power.
Here's the Most High giving him permission. Do you think that you need to give a criminal permission? A criminal just breaks the law.
Right.
You understand? Who's some famous criminals even in America? You think Jesse James needed permission to rob the bank? He just went and did it. So you mean to tell me Satan's now going to obey the Most High? Is that what's about to happen? Good.
Only upon himself.
Only meaning stipulation. Good.
Put not forth thine hand.
This is an order. Good.
So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord.
So when Satan goes forth, guess what? He touches everything but Job, and then comes back and gives another report, and then comes back and gives another report. Why is he going back and forth between heaven so freely if he's casted out? Because maybe you don't understand Satan's job, Christians. Satan's job is to test each and every one of us to see if we're worthy. Satan's job is to see if we will curse God to his face no matter what condition we're in, or if we will serve. His job is to make sure that every single one of us is worth our weight in gold. And you're either going to rise to the occasion or you're going to prove Satan's argument. That's it. Satan is a perfect servant of the Most High. Are you? Are you? Are you? Am I? The way we know is we get tested by this adversary. You know, like, and even if you think about like men as a whole, we only grow from challenges. Like even when we're a kid, how do you know if you push past your bounds? Because you're with some friend. He's like, I bet you can't do this. And then you know what happens? You go do it, and you either do it flawlessly and you start to find out, or you bust your tail.
Right.
And then you realize you can't do it. Now everybody laughs at you. And then you move on. We grow and we move from challenges. Satan is pivotal inside of that growth. He's a worthy adversary, and don't ever forget it. And it's just a matter of, are you actually going to rise to the occasion, or are you going to crumble? Are you going to pass your test? There's many people that failed their test. Nick Cannon failed his test. Nick Cannon had an opportunity to stand for the Most High with all that knowledge he thought he had. And then what did he do? He folded.
Right.
You understand? Like, everybody gets their test. And now I'm using Nick Cannon as somebody famous because, you understand, y'all love celebrities. When I say y'all, I'm talking in general. You know what I'm saying? But the people as a masses love celebrities and thinks, everybody with a fringe and knows that their Israel is in the truth. It's not so.
Right.
But he was a man who knew that the Jews were black. He was a man who knew this, and he said it. And when he got called out on it, he refused to double down on the truth.
Mm.
When he had an opportunity to represent for the Most High, in that moment, for as much as a celebrity can do. Now, there's more you can do. Pay your tithes to Commanding General Yohana. You understand? Outside of that, he failed. So what you see here is that Satan is actually a perfect soldier. It's just about, are you going to obey the Most High, or are you going to obey Satan? Like, even when you hear the term like unclean spirit, an unclean spirit is not a spirit. How does a spirit get dirty? Is there dirt in the fourth dimension?
Mm.
Is there dirt? Maybe y'all like spirit realm. Sounds spooky to me, but is there dirt in the spirit realm? Is that what it is? How does a spirit get dirty? No. You pollute yourself. You become unclean if you listen to that spirit. So if there's a spirit trying to get you to do something filthy, the spirit isn't dirty. You are if you obey it. That's what makes an unclean spirit, because the spirit's job is to make you unclean, me unclean. So what do we have to do? We have to fight our flesh so that our body doesn't become a vessel for that spirit. So that the only thing that the spirit that we obey is the one that serves the Most High, is the Holy Spirit. That's what the Holy Spirit is. The Holy Spirit is like the Most High's vibe.
Huh.
You understand? It's his will. It's his desire. It's, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you know if somebody got team spirit? They gonna be at the game. They gonna be with a green foam finger, a Jets jersey, and they gonna be going Jets, Jets. You sound like a Giants fan. You don't even care about it. I'm joking though, of course. You know what I'm saying? But Captain Zaryak, unfortunately, is a Giants fan. You know what I'm saying? It's all right. It's all right. We agree in Christ. we agree in the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, though, and I joke with, I make fun of him. I tell him, you've been a Giants fan since 2008. You know what I'm saying? He gonna say, boy, you crazy like that glue. That's what's usually gonna happen. But point being is, how do you know if someone has the Christmas spirit? They're gonna wear the ugly ass sweater.
Right.
You know what I mean? They gonna put the tree up, deck it out with tinsel and ornaments, and put the star at the top of the tree. You know what I'm saying? Play that Mariah Carey song. You know what I'm saying? And you know what's crazy? That's not even the most streamed song ever. Do you know what the most streamed song ever is? What would you think it is?
I think it's Lucifer.
Nope. The most streamed, it might only be on YouTube, but this song has a record. Anybody want to take a guess?
So, like I said, are we talking for the Christmas?
No, just in general.
Fine.
Christmas, I think it's White Christmas.
Most streamed song.
I'm gonna tell y'all. It's Baby Shark.
Oh.
Yo, you don't got kids, grandkids? That's why, yo. You know what I'm saying? Baby Shark is the most streamed song ever. Real talk. Just a fun fact. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I like music. But my point being is, that's how you know if somebody has the Christmas spirit. They put it on. Well, how do you know if you have the spirit of the Most High? You understand? Like the spirit is what you do. You understand? You're going to obey the laws. You're going to go to the Passover, going to pay your tithes. You're going to never eat pork. You understand? Right. Rock your shield, fringes. You understand? This is my jersey.
Right.
You understand? This is my team.
Right.
And you know, because when you see me, I'm representing. You understand? Nah, it's not a Michael Jackson song. Nah. Even though I don't think there'll ever be a bigger artist than Michael Jackson.
Right.
Ever. You know, there's a sidebar, another fun fact. You know, there's a prison. I don't know if it's in China or somewhere, that the warden was such a fan of Michael Jackson. If the prisoners would reenact Michael Jackson's music video, they would get reduced sentences.
Damn.
So you got like a whole bunch of prisoners in the yard doing the Thriller dance, and I'm not playing, bro. Like if you ain't gotta Google it now, but you can go Google it and you can find it. I don't know if it was in China or Japan or Korea, one of them countries. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll see a inmate in like a wolf mask and an inmate in like a blonde wig. You know what I'm saying? Like pretending to be the woman running from the Thriller. Crazy. But my point being is, that's how you know what spirit you're in, and that's the spirit that you always want to be in.
Right.
All right. Let's drop that. Give me Psalm 78 and 49.
Come on. Psalms chapter 78, verse 49. He casts upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath, and indignation, and trouble by sending evil angels among them.
By sending what?
Evil angels among them.
Who sent these evil angels among them? The Most High. The Most High controls everything. Hold where you're at. Give me Isaiah 45 and 7.
Come on.
You understand? Like the Lord created absolutely everything. Our power created good and created evil. And sometimes evil is not in the context of wickedness or sin. You don't want to think like the Most High sins. You want to think evil like the evil that comes with judgment, the punishment. When he sends an evil angel, he was talking about the plagues that he sent to Egypt. So when all those locusts came in, an angel brought those locusts in.
Right.
When the hail came down and destroyed all the crops and the cattle, an angel did that. Just like angels were the one who what? Destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So those are spirits of wrath and vengeance, evil angels that the Lord uses for judgment. Just like the angel of death. Everybody acts like you think death is the most amazing thing in the world, then why does everybody cry? The Lord has an angel who controls death.
God.
There's a spirit behind everything. And just like those spirits answer to the Most High, so does Satan. Because every spirit has a purpose and every spirit has a master. That master is the Most High power. Read that.
Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7. I form the light and create darkness.
The Most High creates light and darkness. Go ahead.
I make peace and create evil.
Meaning the peace is the state that you're in when you obey him, and the evil is the state that you're in when he sends these angels to wreck your life.
God.
That's what Jacob's ladder is. Jacob's ladder is the angels go up, and you ever notice that it's Jacob's ladder? It ain't Moab's ladder.
Right.
It ain't Esau's ladder.
Right.
Why is it Jacob's ladder? Because Jacob shall I love. I shall yet again choose Jacob, and on Israel shall I have mercy. Because that's what this book is all about.
That's right.
You understand? And it says, I, the Most High, do all these things. The Most High does all of these things. And you know how he does it? Through these spirits. Any questions?
That scripture you said, it was last week, you said the angel, when he pulls out the sword, and something about that's how death comes? Or something?
That's going to be in either First Chronicles 21:1 or Second Samuel 24:1. It's inside of those stories, but let's go there. Let's go to First Chronicles 21:1 just to show you something real quick.
Come on, come on.
This is one of my favorite topics. I had fun tonight because this topic freed my mind.
Come on, come on, sir. First Chronicles chapter. Salakia. Wrong one. First Chronicles chapter 21:1. And Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to number Israel. Verse 2. And David said to Joab and to the rulers.
Go back to 1.
Verse 1. And Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to number Israel.
So now, Satan stood up against Israel. This is what it says here, right? And provoked David. Satan was testing David to see if he would number the people. Number, like take a census. Now, in the book of Numbers, we were organizing ourselves. We were, you understand, we were numbering the people. What's the difference between what happened then and now? David was doing this to see how much power he had because he was putting his strength in his numbers. Whereas before, we were just organizing ourselves to know how many people we had to care for. How many meals do we need? How many people do we have to put over them to care for them? You understand? Organizing our military, our garrison, so on and so forth. Structuring ourselves in leadership capacity. That was the point of Numbers.
Okay.
Numbering the people here, David was looking to see how strong he was. And we can never put our faith in numbers.
Right.
We have to always put our faith in the Most High.
That's right.
But now here it says Satan did it. Go to 2 Samuel 24:1.
Come on, come on. Second Samuel chapter 24:1. And again, the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and he moved David against him to say.
He said he moved him. It said, and again, the anger of the Most High was kindled against Israel. And he moved David against them to say, go number Israel and Judah. But in the account in Chronicles, it said Satan did this. Here it said the Most High. Why? Is this a contradiction? Anybody want to try to answer? Shaw?
Sir, in First Chronicles chapter 21:1, David was obeying what was like it was. So like David was obeying what was in his mind, not the counsel of the Lord.
Okay, but right here, it said that the Lord moved David to do this. In the other verse, it said Satan moved David to do it. Give y'all a chance. I'm going to give it to y'all for time's sake. The Most High sent Satan to do it. Satan's obeying the Most High's orders. That's what we learned about in the book of Job.
God.
So if it says Satan did it, Satan doesn't do anything without orders.
Right.
If it says the Lord did it, the Lord is not actually doing it. He's sending someone to you to do it.
Right.
Think about it like this. Who unalived Osama bin Laden? Barack Obama gets the credit.
Right.
Did he go out there with a M16?
La.
Who did? SEAL Team 6.
Right.
If I say SEAL Team 6 unalived Osama bin Laden, am I correct? If I say Barack Obama unalived Osama bin Laden, am I correct? Because who gave the order? The president gave the order. Who gave Satan his orders?
The Most High.
You understand? That's the chain of command. I'm going to give y'all one more just to show you how this works, and then we're going to end it. Give me Jonah 3 and 1.
Jonah chapter 3, verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto Jonah the second time, saying.
So this is whose word?
The Lord, the word of the Lord.
Go ahead.
Came unto Jonah the second time, saying, verse 2, arise, go unto Nineveh, that great city, and preach unto it the preaching that I bid thee.
So Jonah's getting sent to go prophesy. Go ahead.
Verse 3, so Jonah arose and went unto Nineveh, according to the word of the Lord.
The word of who?
The Lord.
Go ahead.
Now Nineveh was in
Nineveh.
Now Nineveh was an exceeding great city of 3 days' journey.
Good.
And verse 4, and Jonah began to enter into the city a day's journey. And he cried and said, yet 40 days, and Nineveh shall be overthrown.
Good.
So the people of Nineveh believed God.
Who?
Believed God.
So who told the people of Nineveh this message? Jonah or God? Huh?
It was the Most High.
It was the Most High. Did the Most High come down and tell you physically? How'd he do it?
He sent Jonah.
So when Jonah spoke, who was speaking?
The Most High.
Done. When a prophet speaks to you, it's God's word. Now, you know what a fake Israelite will say? You guys are worshiping man. No. Jonah was the mouthpiece for the word of God, much like the prophets of the ISUPK are today. So when it says they believed God, they believed the Most High because they believed the prophet. But it says they believed God here. Who was speaking? You understand? Jonah. What was he speaking? The Most High's words. And that's the same reason why Chronicles 21 and Samuel's 24 are not contradictions.
Right.
You just don't understand the Bible. You don't understand the order of things. All right. With that, same time next week, you understand, 7 p.m. Of course, tune into the other classes during the week. Subscribe to the channels if you haven't already. And with that, pass the class over to Priest and Officer Shaw.
Clap it up for the class.